Hey guys, what's everyone doing today? Hey Ryan, thanks for moderating chat. Hi Brandy, Maddie, Just Me, Ask Your Bartender. Hey Mary, K&S. Hi Rob. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Hey Kay. Hey Jeeper. Yep, and Alyssa, and bring Sophie home. Exactly. So Michael's been busy the last couple of days. Besides evading what he's supposed to do, he was basically on YouTube for like 6 whole hours.
Yeah, straight. Just doing interview after interview.
Did you? I mean, I felt bad for that guy.
I don't see how he can do it. I really don't. I mean,
he's good. He's good at what he does, not gonna lie. I don't know how he did it.
Well, it also goes back to the post that Tim Foxworth had made in his group, how he's up all night and then sleeps all day and doesn't pay any attention to Sophie.
Yeah, we'll get to Tim's post in a minute. I really hate to poke that tiger, but the stuff that he said is unreal.
And I have to say, I did giggle at a couple of times. He was mad.
Ryan says meth. It's meth. It's all meth. It's all meth. So
I thought it was the code.
He's, on the run. A lot of people were wondering if he was in Arizona. They sent me pictures. They're like, look at the light there and look at the light here. And they were in Texas. Hey, RC. Hey, Tammy. And I was like, ooh. I was like, or he's got one of those like Hollywood ring lights in the bunker. What do you think?
That, it could be that. Honestly, his voice also had an echo. That kind of is why I lean towards the bunker more with a ring light, maybe, because his voice was echoing.
Yes. I noticed that as well. But, the way he's trying to sell himself to the Father's Right movement, and I felt bad for that guy, but I will say this, all right? Whether you guys like the glare or don't like him calling the guy Fred Durst was about the most hilarious thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, I did. I laughed at that too.
I couldn't focus anymore because I had that song Nookie in my head.
Right. And now I can't see him as anything but him, Fred Durst. Like, that's all I see now.
And you and I were talking. We're like, oh, he's got to be a good guy. He's a Chiefs fan. Next thing you know, there's We're going, hey, Fred Durst. And I was like, oh, I see it. Mary says, I've been posting Fred Durst memes ever since. I felt bad for the host of the Father's Right movement because he hasn't been told. He doesn't know.
And I do believe like his heart's in the right place. I want to say I don't really follow a lot of what they do, but not all fathers are bad at all. Michael's just very bad.
Well, and the thing is, we're totally against parental alienation. We're totally for fathers' rights.
Exactly.
But he really gaslighted this guy and took advantage. The guy wasn't even asking him the right questions, in my opinion.
No,
I didn't. And at some point, he's going to ask him, do you plan to show up on Wednesday? Do you plan to be there? But instead, he was like a 1980s car salesman. Like the ones that used to take the, like roll back the mileage and say, hey, you're taking money out of my pocket by buying this.
Right.
He's always. Jeeper said that Father's Right group made a choice not to do his homework. Yeah, that's true. He did.
No, that's very true.
And they have a lot of backlash now because there's even fathers that are saying, don't corrupt what we have going on because of him.
Right.
So, what I basically got from the 2 interviews I saw, that was a Father's Right movement and the one he did with the attorney, is both hosts were really fair with him. He ran both the shows. And he's the victim. And, just like the title of this, the long hoax continues. The corruption.
Oh, the corruption.
How many judges have we had now?
Oh my God.
Attorneys, CPS workers, police.
Several. Like I've lost count because you also had the Gauls, you know.
Well, and I mean, Texas is basically 6 states in one. It can be its own country. All right.
Yes, Alyssa, the amicus also.
But
And yes, no, Texas is huge.
But he believes that this whole state's against him.
Yes. And don't forget Nancy Grace. And Yahoo. I forgot Yahoo. Yahoo and Nancy Grace as well.
And Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Yeah. Yeah. When I was looking at the chat. I was kind of going back and forth between my office to the TV and anyway, there was no one in that chat with Father's Right. It's like the chat was hosting the show. And I really wish that host would have asked him at least some of those questions. Now, some were just ridiculous and they were just insults, but there was no reason for him not to discuss those things with him. No, Okie Mama, they didn't find Sophie. But I mean, the chat was a better host. It really was. And they had no sympathy for him in there. Now, Michael's got a new platform now. See, his PayPal is floating around now. Again. Yes. And, Mary, I threw a few insults in. Guilty. Hey, I feel you.
Sometimes you can't help yourself. I get it.
Right. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I don't know. He just said so many things that just really threw me off. And one of the main things, I shouldn't even say main because there's too many. Yep, that's what I was talking about, Angel. Yeah, his PayPal's floating around. He's getting a new platform. And you could tell, especially when he was on the attorney's channel, that these are people new to the case. They don't know what's been going on, not just for the last year, but for the last 5, 6, 7, who knows? So they're very sympathetic to him. They're believing these stories and they're like, yeah, of course, his little girl is telling him this and he believes her and he's taking up for her.
Right.
What did you get from it?
I'll be honest, I did not really watch the Rakita Law Firm one.
Okay.
Just because by that time I was already half asleep because I can't do those all night hours. Like you know me, by 9, 10 o'clock, I'm gone.
Yeah, me too.
And then the next day we had all that stuff that was going out with a different case and I wasn't able to catch up.
Mm-hmm. But no,
I have seen screenshots though. In the chat, I really was impressed with the chat. There was a lot of questions that should have been addressed that he did not. And I don't understand that.
Now, are we talking about the law firm or Father?
Yeah, the law firm one.
Because I think you have to pay $20 to get your question answered.
Well, and also, I've also heard that he was only he has he has access to all of the documents and he was only letting out Michael's side. Also, just not Kelly's, just Michael's.
Let's address this really quick for people that are new or that will listen to it later. For some reason, there's several people that are really hung up on the PR firm, public relations firm. Now, rewind about 11 months ago. There was an army of 200,000 people, roughly, in a group calling for everything and anything to be done to Kelly.
Right, yes.
He had to get something done to protect her children, protect herself. And this PR thing is so overused.
Well, and they only made that one statement.
They made one.
That's it.
But they're not going to let it go. They're not going to let it go.
I have never actually heard Kelly speak except through that one statement and that one clip of her speaking to the cop. That's the only times I think I've ever seen Kelly speak.
Just Me said she's going to have to update her resume. Yep, you're on the PR team, girl.
I think we all are.
So Lisa, those Jeeper. I mean, come on. But yeah, they're really hung up on this, and I just don't know how.
I don't get it. I don't get why. I don't get why Michael's allowed to go on, these hour-long YouTube shows that break gag orders and everything, but she's catching hell just for this one PR statement. It doesn't make sense to me.
Lisa said, we have literally never heard her voice through this. Meanwhile, Michael did a live video almost every night for months. Months, yeah. Lisa. Months. I wouldn't watch them. I mean, everybody just kind of
I didn't either.
On how ridiculous it was. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I think not so much on the attorney's channel, but I think on the father's movement, I think he should have shared the link to let people come up and talk to Michael. I think he would have learned a lot, in my opinion. Because he was getting snowblown, dude.
Right. Well, also, like any question he asked, it turned into a word salad that was just, he was going in circles. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just, with no question was ever directly answered and then ended. Like a question that never happened.
And what I couldn't get over is when the attorney asked him, and he saw this in chat, and he said, have you accused other people? I'm paraphrasing. Have you accused other people of abusing Sophie? I couldn't get to the bottom of the answer. It's either yes or no. Yes, I accused another boyfriend, 4 men that did this Mission Impossible style into the hotel, an uncle. Yeah, I have. But instead it turns into, Kelly cheated on me on Valentine's Day. And then I started seeing weird. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the question at hand.
I don't think Kelly, with 3 little kids, was cheating on you on Valentine's Day. But you just had to throw that in there, didn't you? So, as we knew,
he did, Jeeper. I saw that. He had a lot of looks off into the, just turn and look and deeply think about what word salad was going to be tossed out next.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that too, that they were in an open relationship. Come on.
Yeah.
Full-time job, 3 little kids.
And if they were, who cares? That has nothing to do with what, what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
I just don't get why people think that. I mean, because I really don't give a shit if they were in an open relationship. I just want him to bring Sophie home. Just do that.
Well, just do the right thing. And
right.
That attorney that was talking to him was giving him sage advice. And he even said, when we shut the show down, I'll talk to you alone. I can't imagine an attorney telling him, yeah, I don't show up tomorrow. It's good.
Right. You're going to be okay. This will all be fine.
Yeah, it's okay. They won't miss you, dude. They won't miss you.
Judges love it.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. So he didn't show up yesterday, and he has a warrant out for his arrest. Now, I know a lot of people in the group, which, by the way, is a hidden group because I think the inn is full. All right. We have enough people in there talking. But
I agree with that.
People were talking, and they're like, they're thinking that, like they're going to get him really fast. It's not going to work that way. I mean, the Texas Rangers are not going to come after him. There's not going to be roadblocks or anything like that.
I mean, we can all, I wish it would, but no, a failure to appear is not really that big they're not going to go out and search.
No, and I'm sure if they really wanted to, they could figure out where he's at.
Yeah, I think so too. So
it's going to be one of those things where it's going like Trevor Gernon. You know, they come across him at a traffic stop or someone sees him. That's it. And he's been hiding all this time. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I agree, Okie Mama. Ping his phone.
Yes. Yep.
Ping it. Get this over with. He should be charged with parental kidnapping. He should be. I totally believe that. I don't know what the holdup is. I mean, there's a warrant. I mean, that's good.
We're slowly moving in the direction it needs to go in, but slowly, very turtle-like.
Yeah. And the direction it's going in is not what Michael thought it would.
Oh, no, I really don't think that. I really think this was his last resort. He thought it was going to end different.
Well, because when he was calculating all of this about this time last year, okay? I mean, what a difference a year makes. I don't think he ever foresaw this.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever put that together. I mean, because he had a good thing going. He had money.
And I really don't think he's enjoying hiding out either.
God,
he's not the type. Yeah, he's not that type that wants to be hiding in the bunker. He wants to be flaunting all this.
Yep. Ask Your Bartender said he thought he had it all under his belt. Where he blew it is when it was on Zoom with the hearing last September. Because that's when a lot of people were like, oh, this has been going on a long time. This isn't something that your daughter just told you over the weekend. And then when he accused the 4 men. Now, some people had it figured out before, and they were scratching their heads going, this makes no sense. What's going on here? Makes no sense. But, I mean, he's his own worst enemy. That's all.
Yeah, the 4 men is where I came in. That was when I was like, okay, wait, what? And that's when I stopped believing him.
I think my thing was the fact that the video was edited. I couldn't figure out, like, if this traumatic thing is going on, you've actually got time to edit a video?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's nuts. Okie Mama says, I never believed him. Tammy says, not the list itself. It was the constant reloading of it. Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Yeah, they kept adding stuff. Yeah. The most outrageous stuff to it.
Yeah. So he also shared some pictures of injuries. And the bruises were like all different colors. And I just thought that was really odd. I mean, you know, like when you have a bruise and it's purple and it starts to heal, it's different colors.
Yeah, it starts turning yellow and green.
Yeah. And so I was like, that makes no sense, Michael. That makes none. But then back to what I've wondered for a long time. If it's such a dangerous situation at Kelly's, why are the boys there? He admits he has not seen his other sons with Kelly since April. He admits he has not seen his youngest son since December. Does anyone find that odd?
I do. I really do. And I've seen a lot of people say, well, you just do what you got to do. You save the child that's most in danger. So, but that doesn't really make sense either. What's most in danger? Wouldn't they all be in danger? You know? Like the boys are just, it just never makes sense. And I know this is going to tie right back into them trying to say corruption and CPS, but it's not just their boys. It's also her other child. Plus, you know, like, so that child's safe too. She's got 3 children in her care that are absolutely okay to be there, but she can't have the daughter. It makes 0 sense.
And he's going to keep this going until Kelly is bankrupt. He's
Oh
not
God,
going to.
yeah.
He's not
She's
going
not
to
getting
stop.
near the money he is.
You know, and the thing
He's
is
made bank.
what little bit of money he gets, he's not using it towards his legal fees. He doesn't have an attorney. He's taking up people's time with his bullshit, his internet lawyering, filing his own stuff.
We know now that he's been given a list of attorneys that will work pro bono, and he's ignored every single one of them.
Yep.
So there's that now too.
His ex-friend, Tim, who tried to help him and believed his movement, believed all of it, gave him a list of attorneys that would do it pro bono. Gabby says, according to him, all of his children were abused. Why would he only save the child who went along with the abuse? That's the reason, Gabby.
Because right there, yeah. You answered the question.
He went along with the one that he could manipulate. That's it. So then this came out. So Michael's pissing everybody off today, okay? I don't think it matters what Michael files at this point. It's going to be denied. I'm just going to get to the end of it. Having considered the application and documentation provided by Long, the court grants the request to proceed. IFP. It is recommended, however, that this case be dismissed as frivolous and for failure to state the claim on which relief may be granted. Accordingly, Long's request for emergency injunctive relief should be denied. Done. Stop. When's he going to stop? Lacey said, did anyone see my question about the text? I followed this from day one, and that's about the only thing I haven't been able to find. What text, Lacey?
I think she means the text between maybe Michael and Sophie. I don't know. I myself have not seen those texts.
No, I haven't seen them either. I've just heard about it. I mean, Courtney handed that stuff over. And did anyone notice how he was kind of like, he was bragging on Courtney a lot.
I heard that. I did hear that.
Yeah, it was getting creepy. You know, she's just the best. I mean, the way she takes care of the kids, the way she does this, the way she does that, the best researcher. She's the one that found out that Rachel gave a political contribution to Judge Wheelis. I mean, he was going on and on and on. And
I think that's like, it's either he's wanting her back on his side or he's wanting people to think she's mainly responsible for all of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like deflect any kind of responsibility whatsoever from him. It was all her. She did all that.
Yeah, but he's sitting there bragging on her. He could easily throw Courtney under the bus and be done with this right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
He could easily say, you know what, I was, she's a woman, Sophie's a little girl. I just kind of went off of what Courtney was telling me. He could easily do it, but he's going to stick with it. But now he was really hyping old Courtney up.
Muffin Top said he was trying to groom her to be Team Mike again.
Ryan said, what kind of trouble? What do you mean, what kind of trouble? All right, so I'm going to read this really quick that Tim put in another group, his group, and it says, what we know or is alleged. Sophie's whereabouts are unknown at this time. The GoFundMe, all dispersed funds have not been accounted for. Accusations were made, which I flat out told him I did not believe, and I told him to hire a forensic accountant. This was not done. Tim says bad stewardship of existing funds, in my opinion, resulted in inadequate balance to pay legal fees. I agree with that. And whatever you think of Tim, he He really stuck his neck out there for Mike.
Yeah, he really did what he could do to help him.
Absolutely, he did. He said, lawyers. I sent a list of pro bono lawyers to Michael several times and none were contacted. He said that Sophie was homeschooled by Courtney. Okay. I'm not going to read that part. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so Tim is saying that she had one sane exam. Well, how can all of these people be accused and she's had one exam? You want me to read the end of it? Okay, Astro, I will. It really is funny. He said, one more thing, Mike, on the Glare show last night, you know, the person who wasn't played by you but played along, you mentioned you had some things to address with me. One does not address things with me as though I were a subordinate or servant. I'm a Foxworth with all that entails, and I bend to the knee like to no man. I do not answer to you or anyone save the Lord. If this is thinly veiled threat, you would do well to know your place and choose your words more carefully. Or I will choose mine less carefully. In fact, keep my name out of your mouth altogether. You know how litigious I can be. I do not deign to speak with you. P.S. What's with the cowboy garb? You're from Oregon. If, however, you're doing the village people, may I suggest a construction worker next, though that might imply actually working. Now, wow.
Can I just say, when he says, I am a Foxworth and all that entails, has anybody ever read novels by V.C. Andrews? It really sounds like something that came out of one of those.
Really? Yep, you're
like
right.
Just all dark and, you know, the hell's going to rain down on him. How
that
dare
man,
he question.
He's pissed. He is pissed.
Yeah.
And who the hell is Michael to call him out when, I mean, he put Tim in some really bad situations.
I've got to say, I agree with that. Like, if I was Mike, I would have just let that lie. I wouldn't have brought up Tim in no way, shape, or form, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Some things you just let lie, and Mike does not know how to do that at all.
He's his own worst enemy. Now, I want to know what his current boo was thinking, listening to his rants 2 nights in a row and bragging on Courtney.
Right?
I mean, did he just tell Jeannie to get her another beer so she could get through it?
I can't imagine, honestly, just sitting there, like, if she is anywhere around, just having to listen to that. But I haven't understood Alyssa's motives at all throughout any of this. So,
well, especially the fact that she's the one that's leaking documents, sending out screenshots of their personal conversations.
Of his personal nudes.
His nudes. Yeah.
Yes. Like, what the hell?
Nobody wants to see that.
No. And he's still, I don't understand these people. I really don't.
Yeah, and why would she? I mean, they cannot possibly still be together with all the stuff that she has sent out. They just can't be.
I want to say that, but then, you know, I'm sent screenshots that show, which I know she's not leaking documents anywhere, but I do know that she's still a supporter of his. But I do know that she catches hell in a lot of places. Like, people question her motives everywhere. Whether you're on Kelly's side or Mike's side, everybody questions Alyssa.
Oh, I question it because it makes no sense, especially since she has her own children.
April said that Michael said he is still with her.
That's what I will never understand.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all.
She has her own children she needs to be fighting for.
Exactly. And I will say that I don't understand how a woman can sit there and try to help somebody fight for their kids when they don't even give a shit about their own. But that just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the person on my team by any means.
No, not mine either.
You know, and from what I was told, her family is furious with her.
Yes, I heard that too, and that they don't let her see her children.
Well, they shouldn't. She's a danger.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I mean, and when you abandon a child, okay, when you abandon your child, your minor child, I don't mean your kid's in college and you move somewhere else. I don't mean that, they have their own home and, you move or whatever, but you abandon your child. That causes a lot of damage to them.
Yes. And then just imagine getting older and seeing all of this online, because that's inevitably going to happen. And realizing, oh, okay, while mom was ignoring me, she was off fighting for this child. Okay, I see. That's how I'd feel.
Of course they feel that way. They're sitting there going, haven't seen my mom in months, but she's living in a camper in Guadalupe County, fighting for a girl that nothing has happened to. Nothing. And then her mom is also fighting for her.
Right.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. But I have a feeling it wasn't a good day when Alyssa watched all that, if she did, to even talk to Michael and be like,
right.
why are you bragging on Courtney?
Yeah, because by all rights, Alyssa's doing her damnedest to push his narrative as well. And she didn't get a shout out.
Nope. And soon, I mean, he'll have someone else, and she's going to turn a bunch of stuff over.
Wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yep. It's going to go on and on and on and on. Because anyone that thinks that Michael's just going to suddenly wake up and do the right thing, comply with the court, get Sophie therapy. I mean, Tim even said in his post, he doesn't take her to therapy.
Right.
He doesn't take her.
And by any means, so it doesn't that child needs to be in therapy, especially if what he was saying was true. Wouldn't you want your child in therapy if all that had happened to her? You'd bend over backwards to make sure that she was getting the help she needed.
Absolutely. You're talking about sexual assault on a little girl by numerous men, and you don't have
to. Okay, as long as she's on the run. Yeah, it just makes zero sense. Nothing he does makes sense. And people, that's what I don't understand, how they don't ask these questions, or when they do, they're ignored, and it's okay.
I'm never going to understand that the women that follow him, that believe him. It's like, ladies, do you not know your own anatomy? Okay, if I was assaulted by 4 men at my age, grown woman, I've had children, I'd be in the hospital.
Right.
And they're not connecting the dots. It's like, do you even know what that would do to you? Especially a little girl.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, I don't want to get gruesome here, but think about it.
Yeah, it's just shocking that people believe that and don't question it in the least bit. It would absolutely destroy her mind. It would destroy her body. She would not be okay to be in a bunker around strangers right now.
She wouldn't be smiling with the news reporter from Indiana and then on a horse, and dancing to Taylor Swift and him saying, now it's time to have fun. Who could even think about having fun if that happened to your child?
Right.
It's ridiculous. None of it makes sense. None of it. And I feel bad for the men that are really struggling with their own custody cases, not getting a fair shake from family court, because it does happen. It does happen. Family court is a swamp. It's a disgusting swamp. And they're getting very upset. They're like, look, we've got legitimate cases here. Legitimate cases. And you're letting this man spew this bullshit.
Yeah.
To take away from us. MCH said cops pulled surveillance. You mean at the hotel where they were under police protection? Another thing, guys, there were people, I'm not going to say which channel, what chat, new to the case, asking for Kelly's address. What's her address?
Yeah, so it's already starting all over again.
How sick is that? How sick is that?
It's scary and it's sad.
Hey, does anybody want to grab the link and come up and chat with us? Yeah, they checked the video surveillance. Nobody was there.
Right, yeah.
Nobody was there.
We would have heard, if that would have happened, we would have heard about that. He would have had the cops plastered all over the place, the report plastered all over the place. Yeah, that didn't happen. That it never happened.
No, hell no. Lacey said Kelly even said Sophie didn't and would have on the same clothes the entire time. Yeah, I mean, he's not the doting father he puts out there.
No.
Says the fact that he's still trying to push the hotel again when he waited 3 days to even take her to the hospital. See, and that's another thing. So this supposedly went down, I think, on a Thursday night when these 4 men assaulted her.
Right.
And he took her to the hospital on Sunday.
And I thought it had been said that Mike himself had said that the hotel story wasn't true at one time, that he had got carried away.
He has told his story so many times.
Right, and that's why it surprised me that he started pushing the hotel story again, because I had literally just read that like a couple of weeks ago prior.
Yeah, and I mean, I really hope that the people that have him on their channel now, they need to really do some research, because Ryan brought up a good point. Remember when, now Michael never does anything, other people do his dirty work, but they said that both Kelly and Jake had been arrested. But it was a secret jail.
Right, yeah.
Secret jail. Now, mind you, Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested in Dallas for assassinating the president. And he wasn't in a secret jail, but Kelly and Jake were.
Right, yeah.
And as we've seen with other cases, and like the Stolen Innocence group, when the little girl told her grandma what Argelia was doing to her, had done to her, and that her mother even went as far as to go to Target buy a sewing kit to repair her vagina from this, they were charged and arrested with a quickness.
Yes, immediately.
I mean, yeah. And so, again, we're still sitting here going, all
of Texas is corrupt.
Oh, yeah, every bit of it. Ashley wants to come on.
Okay.
Hey, Ashley, what's up, my friend?
Nothing much. I am just in shock that people are still on this bandwagon when he, in a way, Michael himself proved Jake was innocent when he gave the boys back to the mother. Like, let's play devil's advocate, and say, because the Glare was talking about it, let's just play devil's advocate and say that the boys learned bad behavior from the mom's house. So you're gonna give them back from someone you claim is teaching them bad things and is exposing them to Jake. So he obviously didn't have too much of a problem with Jake if he's giving his boys back.
Yeah, that blew my mind when he sent the boys back.
Like, he tried spinning the narrative that mediation's so good for the kids. Not if you're claiming SA. And that's willing. That wasn't, nobody tied this man's hand. And another thing is, he hasn't done any visitation with those kids. Like, it wasn't just the fact that he gave them over to the mom. He's not visiting them either. That's a huge thing. He ain't seen them since April. That's crazy
Right.
to
You
me.
want to have some kind of contact. Like you said, let's play devil's advocate and go ahead and say he had to like do it for the greater good of Sophie, and the boys went back. He's still not even trying to video chat, see them, ask them questions, anything. Nothing.
Nothing. They're just, he dropped them off like sacks of potatoes, and it's almost like he's trying to make Sophie the poster child for SA kids. I mean, the fact that he made t-shirts and backpack. I mean, who does that?
And they're sharing that merchandise again. I can't believe that shit. I'm waiting on the Amazon.
Makes me nauseous. It makes me nauseous, and I'm almost wondering. I made a post about it, but I really want to take Site Guy's analysis of all this, because to me, I'm not the only one that thinks it. It looks like a very unhealthy, unfatherly obsession that he has with his daughter. This is past. This is weird. This is weird. It's the court documents that he released did not make him look good. And I love how the glare just totally ignored the part he's having strangers pay him for, what was it, FaceTimes with the little girl, with Sophie? What was it, FaceTimes, right?
I believe FaceTimes, yes.
Paying strangers. That, if that's not exploiting, you can't. Strangers, I mean, come on now, getting money off of that for her to talk to strangers online. That sounds like stuff that you would hear on How to Catch a Predator. It does. I'm sorry, it does. You don't.
No, you're right. No, you're right. It's disgusting. And I mean, if your child is hurt, violated, you name it, your parental intuition comes out, and you're going to protect those children at all costs, not just one.
Right.
Exactly.
All of them.
And you're certainly not going to be shopping for number 4 with all this going on.
Exactly. And it's not just his children that he's hurting in all this. Like,
no, I was going to say, I'll even take it a step
what
further.
About Jake's little boy?
Right. Like, if all this was true, wouldn't you also be concerned for any child in that vicinity? Like, you wouldn't want any child around them.
Right. And honestly, like, the warnings that I'm getting aren't really coming from Jake. Let's just be real with it. He's a weird creep. He looks like a guy that carries roofies at a party. Yes. I mean, I'm just telling you what it is. He looks like that guy that you avoid at the bar because he's going to plant something in your drink. In Mike's Case Magic Stand, he just looks like that type of dude that would do something like that. And it's really scary that I feel like the justice system in this case caved to public pressure. They knew this was a mistake.
Absolutely, because it wasn't going his way in the first place. It kind of started going his way.
Well, I really love how they're making a conspiracy theory with the PR and with the firm. They only gave out 2 statements, and it had no attack on Michael whatsoever. One was just about her wanting to hold them again, and he's talking about co-parenting on Glaire's live and on the other live with the father's rights guy. He is talking about co-parenting with Kelly. And I want to make this very, very clear. If someone has exposed my child to SA or has watched or done anything that he accused this woman of, there is no co-parenting in a situation like that. He has torn that. No, that's done and over with. There is no co-parenting. The fact that he wants to co-parent with her pretty much says it all.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too.
He even said he could see them being a happy family someday. You think Jake's going to have him over for Thanksgiving? Hey, Mike, cut the turkey for me. No.
Oh, no. When he says happy family, he doesn't want Jake. Did you see his face when he said, oh, Kelly wants to lift this injunction, allow this man in and be a happy, his whole demeanor, be this jealousy rage that he has towards Jake, you know, happy family, the way he said it. He was so upset. He is that kid that doesn't want it's like he views Kelly as a toy, someone to play with and then discard almost in a lot of ways. It's like, I can have you, but no one else can.
But he's not like that with the other women. Kelly is the one that stood up. She's going to protect her children, move on with her life, make him accountable. You know, she couldn't even get him to go to work.
Well, what's coming for Courtney? Oh, that's coming. The moment Courtney tries to move on, Courtney better buckle up, because she's in for the same circus. She's in for the same ride. But maybe he won't, because he doesn't really love Phoenix the way he loves Sophie. Let's just be real. He doesn't give a flying shit about these boys. There is only one child he is obsessively wanting in this whole thing.
But he says all of these children are angels. They're innocent angels. So why one and not the other three?
That's the question for Psych Guy. Some people have a different take than I do and say it's parental alienation, it's the golden child syndrome. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I personally think it's grooming. That's what it looks like to me. And the court documents that he released, he is beyond isolating this child. How are you going to sit there and say, I don't remember sending that text to Sophie about not trusting her amicus? That amicus represents her. They don't represent Mike. They don't represent Kelly. They're there for the kids. And you're gonna poison that? Make the child not trust her own lawyer? That's really what it was. Don't trust her. Don't leave her alone with the boys. All caps. And late night walks from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m., not to mention the texting. That ain't weird.
No,
right?
Yeah, that's completely inappropriate.
Oh my God, yeah.
Talking to her about sexual abuse, period. No child should go through it, and no child should know about it.
Or watching child abuse videos and telling Courtney, get her out of the house. She's crying so I can keep watching this. Like, who the hell?
Right.
Or how are people's warning signs and warning bells aren't going off about this guy? I'm sorry, but I think there's a reason he doesn't want her in true therapy. I think she needs to be decomprogrammed and, get lots of help, and it's not just her. But he's not just affecting Sophie here. These boys are going to be affected. And Jake's little boy, the glare made me so mad when he went on this rampage about how Kelly isn't being a fit mom and how she's picking a man over her children. This is the father of her youngest child. This wasn't a couple who had a fight and split. They were forced apart by this man.
See, I don't watch him, so I missed that.
He just went on this rampage about how Kelly was just not thinking of her kids because of the fact that she wants to lift the injunction with Jake. And as far as I'm concerned, Mike pretty much proved he's innocent. He wants to co-parent with a woman he claimed is hurting the children. It says everything. You don't co-parent after you say that my mom watched this or my mom did that. You don't do that.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Sometimes there's a line in the sand, and Mike more than crossed it. She might have, had he not gone on social media, maybe she could have forgiven him and played it off like he's crazy, like we all know him to be. But this is outright abuse. Her little boy is going to have to see all this one day. And doesn't he have a right to have his dad in the home? Doesn't that, the youngest one, Kelly's little boy that she has with Jake, doesn't he have that right?
To be around his daddy, exactly.
To be around his dad and his mom.
And it really bothered me when he was talking and he said, well, Sophie thinks that Kelly needs to make better life choices or make better choices. Are you serious? Are you serious?
A little girl that he's claiming was sexually assaulted by 4 men in a hotel and then gyrates to Taylor Swift the next day and then posts the video.
I'm like, are you serious, man? For one, okay, on one hand, he was like, you never talk ill of the other parent because it makes them feel bad. But then he's like, Sophie thinks. Well, Sophie is 10 years old. Sophie's never paid a bill. All Sophie knows is what her dad has been telling her.
Right.
My son thinks he's got to eat candy for breakfast. Am I going to take dieting advice from him now? I mean, come on.
No.
I mean, seriously.
No,
really? And then she's exposed to all this. She has a YouTube account. She listens. She's exposed to every little thing on here.
Oh, most
which
definitely.
makes it so much worse.
She has her phone 24/7.
Oh yeah, this kid's on the internet. This kid isn't stupid.
But how can they have this conversation? Michael and Sophie's like, she needs to make better life choices. My mom. Your mom has a job. Your mom has a house. Your mom is taking care of children. Your mom has a retirement fund. Your mom pays bills. But you're saying that she needs to make better choices as opposed to your dad who doesn't work, lives in a camper on your grandparents' compound, whatever you want to call it.
And is now on the run.
Now on the run, is his own attorney because nobody will screw with him anymore.
I love that you brought that up about, you bring up a great point. You want to know something else that her mom has never done? Her mom never walked out. Her mom didn't get to say, you know what, I'm going to play with magical crystal sand and build some sandcastles with some dudes in another state. That never happened. Her mom never walked out on her. Her mom is still fighting for her. Her mom, this could have broke a lot of people. And I asked a lot of people, I was like, hey, if you were in this situation, would you ever want this little girl, like if it, put yourself in those shoes, would she ever live with you again? And some of those people said no. Personally, I'm not one of them because, your kid is your kid. But this could have broke a lot of people mentally. And her mom didn't walk out. Her mom didn't get to, the mom's been the rock and the foundation, the thing that holds it together, the root holding the tree. She's been the root of it. She didn't get to leave like Michael gets to do. She doesn't get to just say, I'm sick of having the boys. Here, Mike. She didn't do that. She hasn't done that whatsoever. And you also got to think how the boys feel. Why does my dad love my sister but not me? That's what they're going to think.
Exactly. And I hope that when this little girl is older, she realizes that her mom went against an insane amount of pressure, danger, and everything, where a lot of moms have been like, okay, seems like that's the best thing for her if she wants to be with you. I mean, she was under protection, and she probably will be again soon because people were in an active chat asking for her goddamn address.
Yep.
That's sick.
A lot of people also forget, like, they were really, really mad at her for letting Jake near the boys with the four-wheeling incident. That's the biggest thing that they have a problem with. And she admits that she had a moment of weakness. I'm not gonna lie, what I would do, if I was I would have moments of weakness.
Like, didn't that happen in the middle of the Texas snowstorm and she didn't have any electricity?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. And a lot of people don't put two and two together. Okay, I don't know if everyone from Texas, people from Texas, up where I'm at, but people's pipes were literally exploding in their homes. They had the worst winter that they've seen in years. A lot of people didn't have running water. Did Mike offer his boys running water? Did he say, Kelly, come on because he wants to co-parent with her. He wants to be a happy family. Did he say, how are you? Are you okay? How are you guys? Do you guys have heat?
That's a very valid point right there, Ashley.
Very valid.
Yeah, he wants to co-parent, but he didn't reach out and say, do you guys have heat? Do you guys have coats? Do you guys have blankets? Do you guys have running water? No, but Jake did. That says it all.
Yeah, that storm was horrific. Horrific.
I have a cousin who's out there in college right now, and their pipes, it froze their pipes. It was literally exploding and leaking all over the place. People were trying to get generators in certain parts, and Mike didn't reach out to even check on his children. He didn't care. He didn't care one single iota, and he didn't check on. Was Courtney there at that time, or was she already gone by that point?
Oh, she was gone as a girl can get, as George Strait would say.
He didn't check on that child either.
No, he hasn't seen. No, to his own admittance, he hasn't seen his child with Courtney since December.
Well, he's trying to blame that on her, and Courtney's in for a rude awakening because this storm that she helped, and I know people aren't going to like it, but you know what? She was a big part of it. The storm that she helped create against Kelly will turn on her full force. This whole thing is going to blow up in her face if it hasn't already. I mean, it's a failed marriage, which also sucks. But now people are questioning Courtney, which they should have been doing in the beginning. This whole thing is going to blow up on her. And in the beginning, when all this started, I was actually talking to Critical K, and she was all upset. This was like way in the beginning, and she said, I don't think there's going to be a consequence. And I said, no, I disagree. This will blow up on Mike like the Holy Ghost. This is not going to be pretty for him in the end.
Well, I mean, in our group, we questioned Courtney from the beginning, especially with the foreman in the hotel. We're like, whoa, she's a woman. How is she going along with this?
Well, I also love how, there were really crazy text messages that Mike sent out to Kelly about crystals, magic sand, bonding, all that craziness. Did anyone pick up on the fact that he kept writing about the little boy, Jack, saying how they were going to have magic bonding. They're going to do magic. And and then not too long after those text messages were sent, he tests that child for cocaine, and only that child. Put two and two together. Come on.
Or when he was going to make the garden out of crystals and Sophie was going to go there and spread her angel wings. I mean, I understand how we talk to our children. I mean, I still baby talk to my children, and they're grown men.
That's weird. I'm sorry. That's weird to me. I've never.
He is weird. But I'm saying what he's doing is totally different than us calling our kids like the nicknames they had when they were growing up. Right.
Like some kids will be called, hey, Snuggles, or hey, my Pookie Bear, like that's fine. But the way he goes, I mean, those kids got to be wondering what the hell is wrong. What the hell is wrong with Daddy? Daddy's on some magic sand again, like it's just crazy. Who talks like that?
I wonder, I do not drink the bandana juice said, yeah, well, I only test one child because the other two weren't tested, right? It was just him.
Yes, just him. And they magically knew off osmosis to just test that kid right after he said, yeah, we're going to have some new bonding, new magic. We're exploring right after that. He basically gave it away that he gave that child cocaine. He gave it away.
Yeah, see, if I had one child come back for tested positive for cocaine, you can bet your sweet ass all of mine would be tested immediately.
Exactly.
Well,
they didn't test Sophie. They didn't test any of the other ones.
He tried to do that justice for Jack thing. He was actually trying to make Jack a victim too, but Jack wouldn't go along with it. And, one of the kids was hurt, had to have surgery. Nobody
that happens.
It does happen. I'm sure that they didn't want it to happen. I mean, I mean, my kid
Especially if you got boys and four-wheelers and everything else. I can't tell you, especially parents of boys, you guys get it. How many times has your boy gotten stitches
So many
from
times.
doing like nonsense?
my
and mine
son was
played
in a
football.
wheelchair from a football accident.
Yeah, I would say mine played
wheelchair.
football and we're always injured. Always
He had to
injured.
have 2 surgeries. But what I want to know is, did Mike help pay for the medical bills?
Does he even
I
cover
doubt
them
it.
on health insurance?
I
No,
don't
of course
think so. I
not.
believe Kelly does.
No, he doesn't. Kelly's always covered them. He's never covered them on health insurance. He doesn't even pay for it's under her insurance. He don't pay for that. He's a deadbeat.
Did he even reach out and say, hey, this is going to be expensive? You know, you're going to take time off work. What can I do to help? No, he didn't see. He saw the kids in April.
And he hasn't visited them. This isn't just, oh, I signed them up. Like the way he said, oh, I just hope they're okay. Who does that? Why is that not like he's making a mockery out of the father's rights movement and the real victims out there?
Thank you. And I really wish that host that picked that up and did that live on Monday knew the whole story. And I really wish he would have asked him some hard questions like, are you going to be there on Wednesday? What's your relationship?
He was clueless.
With your other children? The woman that you're with now, you're still married, Mike. You're still married. So the woman you're with now, what's her relationship with her children, and what's yours like? Are you are you a stepfather to them? What do you do? I mean, what's going on there?
What's going on with all the kids involved?
Yeah.
It's funny how Elise is so into the Long children, involved now. Mike don't give a flying F about her kids.
Nope.
If he did, he'd say, you know what, maybe you shouldn't be with me because I don't want to separate you from your children. He didn't say that. No. He doesn't give a flying fig about her children or anyone else because it's all about him.
And what man or woman would be cool with someone who doesn't care about their own children? Why would you want them around your own?
Exactly.
Well, why would she? She don't care about her own kids. I mean, again, if she were to stop seeing him, stop all this nonsense, get her life straight. But as much as we love to hark on her, she did far less damage to these Long children than Courtney did. Yeah. As much as I know that's a very unpopular thing to say, but there's tons of truth in that. Courtney did far more damage. And why is it when people thought that Kelly was watching her kids get abused, people literally wanted to kill her? But when Courtney admits to doing that and saying, well, Phoenix was hit in the face, hit in the mouth, that's okay.
Right, yeah.
But she stayed with him. Nothing went down until he found a new piece of ass. Let's admit it.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened.
I was going to say, because if I saw him slap my child in the face, oh, dear God.
We'd be having hands.
Right.
There'd be hands if I saw somebody smack my kid in the face. There'd be hands.
And it's not even like an older child. He was what, 2 or 3? I mean, Jesus Christ.
He's a baby. He's a baby.
And nobody says anything about that. I don't get that. I mean, but us. Of course our side does, but nobody over there. It's just never mentioned.
Well,
how she knew about the late night walks because she outright said that's how she snuck to get the phone. She outright admitted that she got those pictures and the stuff from Sophie's phone because she knew that Sophie was going to get up to go on one of her late night walks with Daddy. Alone. 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. walks that were usual for them.
She should be sleeping.
It wasn't just texting.
She should be sleeping.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, Courtney's doing the right thing. She's given information to help Kelly. So, I mean, she is doing that. You know, some people have brought up maybe she was battered by Michael. She was manipulated. I don't know. All I know is, you know, things went down when he found someone else.
Well, she was the original doxer. She was everyone hates doxing, but Courtney was the original doxer. I can't feel sorry for her because she knew a lot of this. I mean, everybody.
Well, I mean, and she doxed that Ken guy in one of the chats Monday night, gave out his real name and where he works or where he used to work. And I was like, why are you doing this, lady? Why? Leave it alone. Move along. Do what you can to help, but stay out of this stuff.
Yeah.
Courtney's smart. She's not as dumb as Mike. I mean,
the man is already
just the way she testified. Oh, I'm not sure if you manipulated. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'm not sure he manipulated it because there's things I didn't know. You didn't know he was taking her out on midnight walks, and then she said that she did know because that's how she swiped the phone. Come on. She didn't know that giving out her diary to Annie was wrong. That was Courtney that did that, not Mike.
But remember, I mean, they were on live every single night. You know, they're watching those likes. They're watching those views. They're seeing the money coming in. They had to keep the train going.
They both need to get jobs. They both need jobs.
A job would help.
Right. They both need jobs to occupy their time so then they can stay off Facebook. And that includes Courtney, too. She needs a job. You need to stop this nonsense. You know, and she really damaged. Like, if I was Kelly, the hell with what Courtney says. To hell with her. Because she helped. She doxed Jake. She put out his photo out there. And this wave that she brought against Kelly will be after her too, especially when she tries to get a new man or move on. You don't think Mike is going to do what he did to Kelly to Courtney?
I mean, as a mother going through this, I would definitely take whatever information she has. I'm certainly not making Courtney out to be any kind of hero whatsoever.
I think she's just as guilty, if not more so, because she took this child to more exams than Mike did. She was the one that posted it. She was the brains and the grunt behind all of this.
But I think his parents are complicit too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
At some point, why didn't John and Jeannie say, now hang on. Nothing here is making sense, Mike. Hey, Courtney, come sit down. Nothing here is making sense. You've been doing this for years. You've got CPS, judges, lawyers, amicus, gals, all of this saying that this is not true. This is not what's going on. And he'll accuse more people.
Sophie is with the next person that's going to get accused is the aunt's husband. They might as well just buckle up for that accusation that's on the way. And he kind of scared me. He frightened me. He kept alluding in those papers that Sophie was going to hurt herself if she was removed from him. He kept saying that in the stuff. And that frightens me. I'm almost worried that he's going to tell her to hurt herself. Because he's that crazy. He would do something like that. He's that low down.
It's coming down the pike, and he's going to have to comply one way or another. He's going to be forced to. And I worry about that too, because when she goes to her aunt's, it's going to be basically her uncle's going to get accused next.
Yes, he absolutely will. And the aunt's going to be accused of abusing her. I guarantee it. Even if it's I just already, it's weird how I can foresee the future of that. He kind of already alluded that he's going to accuse the guy on the Glare show when he's like, oh, he's going over to her family and this unknown man, this man's going to be having alone time with her. He kind of already said it. That's the next person that's getting on the chopping block to get accused.
You know, and good for her aunt that she's stepping in and she's like, you know, I'm going to help with this, give her a safe place, help with reunification, get her back in school, socialize her again with other children, not being homeschooled by Courtney, which he said she had straight A's. Well, I mean, if Courtney's your teacher, of course. Yeah, I worry about them. I really do.
That's another lie. Because didn't the amicus say that these children were not attending school? That, like, I want to see the receipt that shows that this child was enrolled in some type of school, actual program, not just learning how to make magical crystals at home, actual school.
Well, I thought Courtney herself had said that she wasn't in school.
Courtney also said a lot. I don't trust it. I think that no, I would like to see the receipts for that because the amicus outright said that these children were not in school. These children were not attending school. He was getting paid for.
I read that.
Yeah,
as well. And they need.
Yeah, I think they're both liars. I want to see the receipts for that show that this child was getting straight A's in an actual school program, an actual state program or whatever they do out there in Texas. I don't believe that. Straight A's.
Yeah, I don't
Kids
either.
up at 4 a.m. Give me a break. I'm in school and I can't function if I stay up from midnight to 4 a.m. There's no way.
Hey, does anybody else want to grab the link and come up and chat? If not, I'm going to start winding this down.
I have to get hopping off because, ironically, I have to get back to what I was doing. But you ladies have a good day.
You too. How is your school going, Ashley?
I struggled with the part with the amphibians. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in school for zookeeping, so I don't deal with people. I deal with animals. They're a lot easier. But I enjoy it so far, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of online stuff. It's a lot of safety stuff, but I enjoy what I do, and hopefully, I'll pass.
Of course you will.
You will.
Yeah. Hopefully. It's a tough course. I mean, you got to think there's tons of biology in it. It's a lot of grunt work. There's days where I come home smelling the high heaven and my husband's like, get upstairs, get upstairs, don't come near me. There's days like that. I don't really like dealing with people. I like animals a lot better. Animals don't lie to you.
No, that's the truth.
Animals don't make GoFundMes to rip people off during pandemics. It's not how they do.
Nope.
And they listen really well.
Yeah. And they don't talk back.
Right.
They don't judge you. Yeah, but that's just how I know that this child isn't getting the proper schooling, because I know personally, if I'm up real late, there is no way I am functioning for my class. There's just absolutely no way.
No. Kids need their sleep. Everyone needs their sleep.
Don't kids need, now I might be incorrect about this, don't children need more sleep than adults because they're growing, or is that just a wise tale?
I've read that.
That children actually need more sleep than grown adults because everything growing in bones, and I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Well, I know she doesn't need to be walking around with him from midnight to 4 a.m. I know that. I know
alone.
she's getting ready to go to school.
And notice he didn't take any of the other kids on midnight walks. It wasn't like he said, okay, we're all going to go and throw rocks in the lake or something, you know, or walk on the beach at night. That might be plausible occasionally, but like if you're on a vacation or something, but late night walks really late plus the texting. I just wonder what psych guy would think about all this. I want to hear from him.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while.
All the behaviors just they're bad. They're bad. They're red flags, and that court stuff did not make him look good, and the fact that they turned it in like it did, that did not paint him in a good light. I'm sorry, it didn't.
Well, I hope he's picked up on this warrant. I really do. You know what? I don't really have any faith in that. He's been hiding out. I mean, let's just say he's in Arizona. That's what I'm assuming. They don't know about this case. Not that many people really do. I mean, we talk about it, but it's not like national attention. I know Fox News covered it. Nancy Grace covered it, but people read it and they scroll to the next article. I mean, that's how it goes. But as far as people really looking for her, like Summer Wells, you know, where you have like a whole nation talking about this child and this family, that's not how this is. So, I mean, I don't know.
Now the police, from what I've been getting, knocked on the door. Is Mike here? Sophie here? The mom says no, they're not here. But that's not a search warrant for the property. That'll be next. I guarantee you he's there with her. I guarantee it's going to be somewhere on the property because they didn't get a search warrant for that whole property. That's like when they go in and raid to look for you. That's two totally different things. That will be coming if he continues to hide out. And my question to Mike is, do you really want, let's just say he's not there, playing devil's advocate. Mike, do you really want to put your parents through that? Where their house gets raided, the land gets searched, dogs, the neighbors get all worried, and your parents get all embarrassed and humiliated. Do you really want your parents to go through that? Like, what kind of son is he?
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to end up searching these properties. It's only a matter of time. And the internet's a beautiful thing. Everybody's trackable by it. They're going to end up finding him. It's only a matter of time. Sophie eventually is going to have to go to the doctor. How are they going to keep hiding her?
Well, they can't. I mean, and
it's going to end up getting raided. Like, that's what I'm afraid of. He would rather have his parents' property raided than just do the right thing. What does that say about him as a man and as a son? Like, that to me tells me, like, it's bad enough you don't care about your kids, but you don't give a damn about your mom's house.
His parents are elderly people, okay? He's eating their food, sleeping in their camper, hiding out his daughter, and like they're okay with it. It's the strangest thing. You kind of look for the older people with, their life experiences to say, look, you can't really fight authority that much. You just can't. So when the judge says be there, you better be there. And then you let the court system deal it out. You let them sort through it.
How does the glare not feel stupid when Michael told him, well, we're probably not going to have a hearing. Sorry, Glare. Sorry, Will. He fooled you. Pulled a fast one on you.
I heard about that.
He knew he wasn't coming.
Yeah, I heard that something like that was said. And I'm like, what do you mean? You do have a hearing. It's Wednesday. It was yesterday.
Yeah, he tried to say that the hearing might not be held.
Not for him.
Yeah, exactly. He pulled a fast one on Will. I'm surprised Will isn't pissed off about it. He made Will look really dumb.
I was gonna say I did see a clip too of Will, just like a little like 30-second clip where Will was saying that he had deleted all of his or unsent all messages that he had sent to him.
Yeah,
I guess all the
using
docs that
Will.
he wanted to be shared. Yeah, he literally just used them to get his message out, and then I guess thought he was gonna go backtrack and delete all those messages, so it just looked like Will was talking out of his ass.
Yep, and good thing Will apparently saved it or sent it to somebody for insurance. But it made him look so dumb. And like, don't be, and he tried saying, well, this warrant only means this. It's not the same. A warrant's a warrant, man. A warrant's a warrant. It ain't a good thing.
Yeah, nobody wants a warrant out for them, but there's different types of warrants. So, I mean, anyone that thinks that the paratroopers are going to come down on the compound and raid the house, that's not going to happen. So let's be realistic. Yeah, it's going to be like a Trevor Gernon, like I said earlier. He's going to get pulled over somewhere, you know, and they're going to see he has a warrant and they're going to take him in.
Yet, unless there's leads that unless there's more warrants that come out for kidnapping, because this is just the first one. We don't know if more aren't going to come. Then you got the fact that it might turn into a search warrant for his parents' home, because that's going to be the first place that they look, who's ever in charge of trying to find this little girl. They're going to raid it. They're going to send dogs. It's going to be a freaking fiasco for that family. And for if that little girl is there, that's going to be a horrible thing for her to see. That will be brutal.
It's all been horrible. She went there last Labor Day when the judge said that the kids would see him for Labor Day weekend. We had the whole fiasco with we need big men, we need guns, we need this. This is a 911, everyone. And she stayed. The kids got to stay. And then she's got Courtney telling her what to do, what to say. Michael telling her what to do, what to say. Then suddenly Courtney's gone and he moves in a moderator from another group down there. Props her up in the RV as if, I mean, just like she's a replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, because he didn't care. It's not about, they're dispensable to him. They're all dispensable, but Sophie, but her. There is an unhealthy obsession there. It is not normal. And, you know, it's going to be a really, really sad thing for these kids to see. And it's going to take a whole lot of healing. That will, and I feel really bad for Jake. Jake, you know, for people want to paint him out to be some type of villain. There would be, if I was dealing with Mike or someone like him that just continuously harassed me and my family, damn right, I would probably have some fights with my other significant other. Can you imagine the stress that puts on people?
Yeah.
You know, that in itself, you know, and couples fight. They have, you know, they have bad moments. And he opened a terrible wound, and he didn't just hurt his own children. You got to hurt a child that's not yours. That little boy's going to have to see that one day. How do you think those siblings are going to get along, especially the youngest? You did this to my father. You said this about my father. That's exactly how those kids are going to see that. And it's not fair, but it's very true. And if Sophie grows up, becomes a woman, if God forbid she ever got assaulted, he's ruined that. They're all going to say, well, she's accused people before. And it's totally unfair to her. And
that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying for almost a year. We're coming on a year from the video, okay? And I've said that before over and over. I'm like, if something, God forbid, actually ever happens to this little girl, like he claims, it's not going to be taken seriously.
No. it won't be taken seriously at all. As a matter of fact, he's pretty much made her, like the video where they're talking about her intimate details, you guys have made her a laughing stock. Kids can be cruel, especially teenage years when they enter middle school and stuff. Kids are cruel. Okay? Kids have YouTubes. They are going to see this. And you're talking about her intimate details like that? Like what? Like why would Will think that's appropriate?
I heard so many things, just comments and things like that people were sharing, and I really couldn't believe what was discussed. I mean, I really couldn't believe it. It was disgusting. And I don't mean disgusting because, you know, there's an issue, a medical issue or something, but just that the way it was said. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, she's a little girl. Michael has made this all about him. It's all about him.
Yeah, well, he loves to throw Sophie under the bus. These aren't my accusations. I know that kids lie, but these are hers. These are all, he loves to throw his daughter under the bus.
Yes.
And he's outright said, well, if she's lying, you know, she needs to be treated this way or that way. He's already throwing this child under the bus. He's just going to play it off that, oh, well, this is what she told me. She has a problem with lying. But I have to get back to doing what I was doing, and you ladies have a good day. I'm already behind. Oh, golly. All right.
All right. Thanks, Ashley. Does anybody want to hit the link and come up and chat? If not, we're going to wind this down.
We had a good chat, though. I enjoyed it.
Yep. Thanks to all the moderators and Ashley coming on panel. I don't know what Michael's going to do. I just hope his new followers are ready because he's going to need $2,000 if he's found. His bond is $20,000. So I hope they're ready. Because being friends with Michael equals money. So you better have some cash. All right, guys, have a great afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow. We have 2 shows tomorrow. We have one about Tara, and then we have a live stream about Michaela. It's a protest her mother's doing. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.